Hey guys, my name's Abby, and I'm 16 years old. This year, I decided to sell my virginity to the highest bidder. But things got really crazy when I found out who wanted to buy me. Growing up, I had a pretty easy life. My dad owned his own business and made really good money, so my family was always kind of wealthy. Up until the age of 16, I had pretty much everything I wanted. But one day when I got home from school, I found my dad crying his eyes out. It was so weird. I'd never seen him upset before. He told me he had to close his company down because of money problems. He'd had to pay off all of his employees, and it basically meant that we were left with nothing. He was totally heartbroken. I couldn't stand to see him like this. After everything he'd done for our family, my mom didn't have a job, so I felt like it was up to me to help. But I was only 16. What the hell could I do? That night, I went on Reddit and I asked, "Guys, I'm a 16-year-old girl who needs to make a lot of money. Any ideas?" I got a ton of replies, most of which were useless, but then I got a really weird private message. Some guy just asked me, "Hey, are you a virgin?" I assumed it was just some creep messing around, so I ignored him. But he messaged me again, and this time, he really got my attention. He said, "Because if you are, I can make you $100,000 in one night." Seriously? I thought, this can't be real. Curiosity got the better of me, so I messaged him back, and he sent me a link to a website, and honestly, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. The site had pictures of tons of girls, and the banner at the top said it dealt with premier virgin girls. Was this for real? Girls sold their virginity? There were hundreds of reviews and testimonials from happy customers, and because it was a one and done kind of deal, they were able to charge unbelievable amounts of money. Maybe it was desperation talking. And looking back, I regret what I did. But I messaged the guy and I said, yeah, I was a virgin. So I told him to sign me up. He told me I needed two things: pictures and proof I was a virgin. I had to visit my doctor for a checkup and then had to send him pictures of the medical report. Gross! But I did it. And 2 days later, I had a profile page on his website. Luckily, he blurred out my face so I could stay anonymous. To be honest, you couldn't really tell it was me, so I felt a little better about the whole thing. But I didn't have much time to dwell on it because in less than a week, I had an offer. Some wealthy guy in my city had offered $150,000 to take my virginity. I couldn't see any pictures of him, but he was apparently 40 years old and already booked with a few girls before. After days of struggles and emotional roller coasters, I said yes. The owner of the site arranged everything, and all I had to do was show up at a nearby hotel on Friday night. I was super nervous. I had a few boyfriends before, but we never got to that. I tried to calm myself down. How hard could it be? Surely that guy wasn't expecting much from me, right? I told my mom I was going out to visit a friend, and I made my way to the hotel. I had an assistant accompany me to make sure I was safe. But when I got to the hotel room door, he ushered me inside alone. And that was the moment when my life changed forever. There were rose petals on the bed and a huge platter of food on the table. But standing against the window was a man. A man I recognized. It was my dad. I nearly collapsed onto the floor because I was so weirded out. Had he busted me? Was this a setup? No. Judging by how he freaks out when he saw me, it was all real. "Abby?" he screamed. "What the hell?" "Dad, what's going on?" "Nothing. Just, please don't tell your mom, okay?" "But I thought you had no..." And suddenly, it all made sense. "Is this why we were broke?" I asked. "Because you've been doing this?" My dad broke down and started pleading with me, but I just ran out of the hotel room. I had to. I was in shock. I ran all the way home and I didn't look back once. I stayed up all night waiting for my dad to come home, waiting for that dreaded knock on the door so we could talk about things. But here's the most upsetting part: my dad never came home. Me and my mom had to call the police to tell them that my dad was missing, but secretly, I knew the truth. He was ashamed of what he'd done, too ashamed to ever come back. But then something strange happened. $150,000 magically appeared in my bank account. And not only that, there was a note with the transaction, and it just said, "I'm sorry." I decided to tell my mom about the whole thing: my dad, the virginity deal, everything. She was heartbroken, but happy that she knew the truth. The money hasn't really given us our luxurious life back, but it's helped us move on. Me and my mom live in a new house now, and my dad is still nowhere to be seen. And after all that, I still have my virginity. But I've decided that it's not for sale anymore.